Hey there, folks. Welcome to MT's Daily Poppin' Pills. And then today I got a special one for you guys today. This great topic to explore. Now, there is a unique tradition in Minnesota of saying goodbye and also chatting on the phone. And I'm your host, MT. And you know what? Let's dive right into this. Gotta get those pills started, right? So let's set the scene here. The Minnesota goodbye. So now, if you've ever been to Minnesota or you know someone from the land of 10,000 lakes, and by the way, I'm from the Minnesota land of 10,000 lakes, and you've probably witnessed the famous Minnesota goodbye if you know somebody, or maybe you've talked to me on the phone or talked to some of my friends or family. It's a phenomenon where they're saying farewell after a visit takes just a tad bit longer than usual. It's probably more like 45 minutes or longer. So anyways, I've had my fair share of Minnesota goodbyes, and I've been that Minnesotan saying goodbye too. But you see, after a lovely get-together, you'll find yourself at the front door ready to leave, but somehow the conversation just keeps on going. Before I get into some stories though, let's take a couple more of these pills. So, I have a friend named Bob, and I went to his house, and it was about time for me to head home, right? Well, we both stood in the open doorway, coats on. I had my keys in my hand. And we said our goodbyes, and by the way, a Minnesota goodbye is not just shaking hands. You got a hug and everything else, and it could be a part wrestling match. I mean, that's what it really could be. But that's how it is. But instead of leaving, you know what happened? We started discussing the local sports teams, and what's big in Minnesota? The Vikings, right? We spent the next, 45 minutes. Debating about the Vikings' chances this season, the upcoming season, but that 45 minutes, it turned in probably another hour and a half. Matter of fact, we ended up back inside and getting another beer and discussing this. So it probably was more like a 3 hour. And I think I left at like 9 o'clock at night. I was trying to leave at 9, and then I didn't get out of there until like 11 or 11:30, right? But that's just what it happened. That's just what happens. But the big thing is, you know what? It's really not just in person. The Minnesota friendly tradition extends to phone calls too. The conversation with fellow Minnesotans often become this delightful, meandering journeys filled with small talk. I mean, I tell you what, there's some things that have happened to me, and I can't count how many times I've had what I thought was a quick check-in call turn into an hour-long chat about everything from the weather to my Aunt Mildred's rhubarb pie. Who doesn't love rhubarb pie, right? Have you guys had rhubarb pie? And I love rhubarb pie, by the way, and my aunt's got some great pie. I can tell you, the crust and the rhubarb grows basically wild up there, and if everybody has rhubarb, one of my favorite things to do with rhubarb though is grab it out of the garden, take it, you dip it in a little sugar and take a chunk off. That's how I grew up. If you got hungry, you went outside in the garden, got some rhubarb, and it's only seasonal because obviously wintertime, you can't have that. But by the way, this is probably about what Minnesotans dress like in the middle of winter, when they say, "Oh yeah, gotta go out to the post office and pick up my mail," So yeah, I mean, I've been with friends that said they called me on days when it's been 30, 40 below zero, right? And they say, and I've called them and said, "Hey, are we still getting together for lunch?" And I'm like, "Why not? Why wouldn't we get together for lunch?" What's the difference? Minnesotans are so used to the cold. If it's 0 degrees out, they might have shorts on. This might be overdressed for 0. Anyways, let me take some more pills and I'll get to this one phone call or a couple phone calls I just had recently. So, speaking of phone calls, there was this one time when I called up my cousin in Minnesota just to say hi. I hadn't talked to her for a while. Just want to check in with her. Well, I ended up learning more about her dog's recent adventures, her gardening tips, and her plans for the next family barbecue. It's like a whirlwind of conversation with these guys. Matter of fact, I just had a conversation with my buddy Dougie, one of my best friends, Dougie. We were actually watching. I live down here in Georgia, and we talked to each other, and we were watching the Timberwolves game, Minnesota Timberwolves, But we started talking about stuff, and it was getting late. The game's over. We were talking. We're all hyped up. T-Puppies are doing good this year. How great they are. I'm like, hey, I gotta get to go. I gotta go to bed. This is like 11:30 at night. I go, hey, Dougie, I gotta get to bed. Dougie's like, well, I know, you know, Tracy, what we gotta do. We're Minnesotans. I can't just say goodbye. So he went on about the story about how he was gonna go muskie fishing the next day. But he had to tell me about all the baits and how the fish are and how he hasn't been fishing for a while, and I mean everything under the blue moon for that. And I'll just say this: I didn't get off the phone until almost 12:30, quarter to 1 in the morning. Now, obviously, I'm not just sitting there listening. It's an interaction both ways. And of course, the fish tails get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's just what they should be, right? So. That's kind of what. So let me finish these off. So what's fascinating about these traditions is the genuine politeness and consideration that underline them. It's all about maintaining connections and building relationships the Midwest way, the Minnesotan way, So anyways, here's kind of a if you're not a Minnesotan, here's a pro tip. And if we get in a conversation with these people, embrace it. Take your time during the Minnesota goodbye. Enjoy the friendly banter during phone calls. Because remember, it's all about connections, Don't you know? I'm sorry. I should have said, don't you know? Because, up there, everything's, oh, yeah, Oh, we're ready to go out and go on the boat, Okay, go fishing. Anyways, so there you have it. The Minnesota goodbye and the art of the friendly phone conversations. I've shared some of my experiences, and I'd love to hear some of your comments. I'd love to hear yours in the comments below. What do you appreciate the most about these charming traditions? Do you have other things that I don't know about from the Southern way or the Western way or the Northeastern way? Wherever you're from, please share your tips and share your experiences below. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this journey through Minnesota's delightful customs. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the likes and subscribe button. Remember, it's empty promises to you, because why? These are all empty promises to you. Anyways, until next time, take care and don't be afraid to linger a little longer during your next Minnesota Goofers conversation. Have a great day, guys.